following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Sheamus doing an interview. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We talked about that before we went on the air. I think I had it right now. Let me try to pull it up real quick.
Side note, what'd you guys think of Conor? That shit was hilarious, huh? I won some money. Thank you, Diamond. Love you.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched it. He looked good in the first round, but
Hey, how'd you watch it?
Yes.
How'd you watch it?
on the UFC app.
Wink, wink.
Someone's UFC app. $70 for it. I don't know. Please don't.
That was such a clusterfuck, by the way. For those
Oh,
that
man.
bought it through the ESPN app. My God, dude.
So many people getting kicked.
Don't know the feeling.
But no. Once Poirier started landing that flurry, it was over. He connected. I mean, Conor got some good shots in, but dude, he ate the big punch from Conor. But Conor took one to the chin and just he wouldn't stop punching. Dustin wouldn't stop punching.
No.
You want Lisa Simpson?
Dustin the Diamond know that people might call him Screech for that nickname. I immediately when I heard Dustin the Diamond Poirier, I was like, oh, that's Screech.
I was thinking Screech too.
Yeah, that's Screech.
Speaking of Screech, he's battling cancer.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's
I think it's stage 4. I forgot the type of cancer, but it's stage 4, which is not good.
So,
hang in.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he pulls through this.
Yeah, that's.
so what did this Sheamus ass sick motherfucker say?
Okay, so it was an interview with Stephanie Chase of Digital Spy. Sheamus was asked about how his fellow Irishman, in regards to Conor McGregor, would fit into the world of professional wrestling. And he said he's teased coming to WWE a couple of times. He's still staying active. He's a lad who's won belts. He's done a lot. So I think he's that type of person who's always trying to try his hand at something different. I think WWE would suit him down to the ground. We've had a lot of people to come in and out. Mayweather came in. A lot of celebrities have come in. A lot of sports people. So I don't think anyone would raise eyebrows if he came into WWE. I don't think it's if. I think it's a matter of when, to be honest. And go ahead.
He likes making money.
Yeah, do it. He ain't no UFC champ anymore.
Dude, a shit-talking, confident Conor was great for the sport, and I feel bad that he got knocked out the way he did. Now you have people clowning on him like Jake Paul, and
Another clown.
I'm gonna get me started on that guy.
I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of. I don't know if he would be able to wrestle the way they go at it for so long. Like we were talking about this, with wrestling, it's a lot different. But I don't know if he would be able to do it. Like, I mean, look at Ronda Rousey when she came in. I mean, she's pretty athletic.
Pretty dope.
I mean, she's a judo champ, and she kind of whimpered out. Like, she was in and then out real fast.
And Conor, like the elephant in the room, that motherfucker fights at 155, so he probably walks around on 180.
At least.
Ricochet's what? 200
around
pounds? Well, Ricochet, you think Ricochet's 200 pounds?
He's about 190.
He's like 190-ish.
Yeah. Look how small he looks. So imagine Conor's look if he decides to go in WWE.
I mean, that's true.
He'd be like Rey Mysterio Jr., dude.
Yeah, or Adam Cole. He would look like Adam Cole or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even Finn Balor's like 2.
Yeah.
I don't believe Finn Balor's 200.
Well, he what? They were billing him at 205 like last year. I mean,
yeah, in quotes.
What
quotes?
It's a different thing. Was there anything else? There was something that she said.
There was yes. Sheamus also said it in regards to the difference between UFC and WWE. In UFC, you fight once a year or twice a year. In WWE, we're fighting every week. We're taking big bumps every week. The physicality we go through is crazy. It's a different world we're in. I think it's definitely more competitive. It's definitely more physical. It takes more edge being in WWE than it does doing the UFC stuff. I'll probably get slated online for saying that, but until you actually do our schedule, you don't realize how tough it is. But as I said, if he wants to come in and give it hand, I have no bother stepping in the ring with Conor McGregor. Okay. So shots fired, I guess.
I mean, I thought they weren't doing drugs backstage. Just talking about doing big bumps every week. That's, I mean,
My God, yeah.
tough dog.
Didn't we just get off that conversation a few minutes ago?
They are still doing drugs backstage. I don't know.
So much for the drug testing pool.
But I mean, you look at a wrestling match and how many commercial breaks, like in a 15-minute match, how many commercial breaks do they have on any given night? How many rest holds are they able to do? When you're looking at a UFC fight, that guy's trying to kill you literally. So they're different sports. I kind of get what Sheamus is saying, but I don't know. I think when he says WWE is more competitive than UFC, I can't fully agree with it. I get it, but I don't know. I think UFC is a lot harder than WWE.
Like, what does he mean? In what way? Like, more taxing to the body, or like more to be more successful in general? Like to get to the promised land.
And
like, there's
anyway,
a lot to digest.
Right. I think Sheamus is 100% right. It's way harder to be a WWE, like on the top of WWE's, to be the champ, let's say. It's way harder to be a WWE superstar versus a UFC superstar. Again, because UFC is a real sport, like we mentioned. It's a real meritocracy where you have to earn everything by fighting people, right? WWE, you have to be a multifaceted superstar. Like, you have to, for one, you have to be athletic. 2, you have to have a look. 3, you got to have a hell of a personality. And 4, you got to have that personality to appeal not only to the fans, but to the boss or the people. So imagine all
probably the most important one.
And the schedule. Like, that's the big thing. You have to stay in pretty much tip-top shape nowadays, 365, because you can't really let down. In UFC, those fuckers get hella fat in between, like, at least the non-champions in between fights. They can chill they'll fight like, 3 or 4 times a year at most. And then the other times they're just mellowing out, So I think it's a different type of intensity, but overall, look, like Undertaker was talking about all the injuries he sustained and all the bumps he fought through he was so scared to take breaks because someone could take his spot. So imagine that pressure all the time as your career. So I think it's a lot harder, especially if you want to do it for long, because UFC, you're not gonna be a UFC fighter unless you're Diego Sanchez for a long ass time. So like, I just think it's just harder in general to be on top of WWE easily.
What about like a Cowboy Cerrone that fights like every week?
That dude is that dude's a rare breed when it comes to MMA fighters.
Yeah.
That guy, man, that guy is. I'm kind of nervous to see what he's going to look like in 20 years, what kind of like long-term damage he may have, and in a lot of the UFC fighters as well. Like, that's going to be something. And not that WWE doesn't have this, not these wrestlers have as well, because we've seen it with Hogan. Look at Hogan, dude. Hogan could barely walk. I mean, and he just does a basic leg drop, and it accumulates all throughout the years. Wear and tear for really both, it's going to accumulate. And then we haven't mentioned about, like, the potential of an accident happening in the ring. I mean, look what happened with Steve Austin when he took that tombstone, and that took years off his career.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not seeing UFC fighters having 30-year-long careers either.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Their matches are like 30 minutes, so.
Yeah, I agree with Byron. I think it does take a lot more to be a WWE wrestler. It's an all-encompassing thing. Like, you have to be all these things or it doesn't work out. With the UFC fighter, it's like you have to knock guys out and that's it. Like, if you knock guys out, you're going to be in the UFC for a long time, and you'll get title fights and you'll get all the money that you want. But in the WWE, you have to have the charisma, you have to be able to talk, you have to have the physical look of a wrestler. And not only that, but you have to convince Vince that you are the guy. So it's just it's a lot of stuff that goes into it more with the WWE as a wrestler in general. It's
entertainment. I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and it's something that you need to be multifaceted to succeed in. Where, I mean, you can look like a Conor McGregor and still succeed, or like a Nate Diaz, you can look like a Cholo and be amazing.
Another thing that we need to consider as well is the lack of competition in pro wrestling, there really is only like two major companies in North America. Back then, 30 years ago, we had the territory system, where, or 40 years ago even, I'd say, where if you weren't successful in one territory, you weren't happy, you can go to another region, you can go to another company and be a top star. And the potential to make money and be a top player was better back then because you had more companies. Now you're really down to like two companies in the US.